I'm Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome you to our December 15th, what was supposed to be on the road at Rockland Township. Unfortunately, due to the risk of weather, we didn't want to have people coming out to Rockland Township. We're here in our boardroom on the 13th floor of the Services Center. And we'll work to reschedule with Rockland Township. Our apologies for the last minute change. We are broadcasting live via Microsoft Teams live event, also through BCTV, as well as YouTube and Facebook Live. At this time, I'd like everyone to stand for a moment of silence, followed by a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would note, if we were at Rockland Township, at this time, we would have recognized David Wurtzenluft, chairman of the Rockland Township Board of Supervisors, but we're not going to be able to do that. And again, want to encourage my colleagues, maybe we can think about how we can reschedule. I've already thought about it. Maybe we push everything 1 month, but we need to look at that. I don't want to act on that tonight. We want to make sure that that works, but I'd like to be able to move forward with Rockland Township. The first item on the agenda is to organize the Board of Commissioners. We made note this morning that as we come up to regular meetings, in light of the recent and I think, quite frankly, exciting announcement, and I'll comment further on that at the end of the meeting during my comment period. Commissioner Barnhart, January 9th, will officially become the new COO. So I'll recognize Commissioner Barnhart to start.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. Given my pending transfer to Chief Operations Officer, I'm going to tender my resignation effective immediately as Vice Chair of the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you. You want to make a motion?
Motion to accept my resignation as Vice Chair. Okay. How about
we accept
a motion to nominate Commissioner Michael Rivera as Vice Chair of the Board of Commissioners?
And I will second that motion. The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention?
Abstain.
One abstention. The motion carries. Congratulations, Commissioner Rivera. And like I said, I'm going to make more additional comments about this announcement from earlier this week.
Yep, I'm doing the same at the end.
At this time, I want to recognize our Chief Financial Officer, Bob Patrizio. He is here to present the final draft. It's not draft, the final version of the 2023 Berks County budget. Bob?
Thank you, Commissioner. It's a pleasure to be here as always. Let me pull this up.
Climate.
We will be ready to go.
Closer.
Oh, sorry. Oh, here. I got it. Is this better? Oh,
Yep.
That's better. Okay, I just want to make sure this is ready to go. It looks like it is. All right. So, Commissioners, thank you again. And it's a pleasure to come back before you and to give you an update on the 2023 proposed budget. As you know, we proposed that on, hold on a second. Why is it not advancing? Let's see. Here we go. All right. So as you know, we proposed this budget on November 17th. We made it available for public review and comment at the county website, also at the Budget and Finance Commissioner's offices. As of today, I have not received any questions or comments or concerns. We continue to refine the budget and we have made changes, but I'm pleased to report that none of them rise to a level that would require us to keep this budget open for an additional 10 days of public inspection before adopting the budget. So you are in a position to adopt the budget at today's meeting. So having said that, we continue to refine the budget based on more current information, as we always do. And as a result of that, we have made the following changes to revenues. We've increased our total revenues by 1.6 million. Primarily, we added $1 million of real estate tax for a total of 151.3 million. We looked at our trend for the last 5 years, and we felt comfortable increasing this. This is not necessarily any change to assessed value. It's more that a larger percentage of our taxes is collected in the flat period and the penalty period than what our model assumes. So with that solid trend, conservatively felt good putting an extra $1 million in. We increased our interest income. I think I mentioned when I presented the budget that I thought there'd be a favorable adjustment here, primarily getting the October trend. We had a solid 4 months of trend up in our interest earnings based on higher interest rates. No surprise there, but it is the first time we're hitting 3 million in probably 6 or 7 years, so that's a good thing. The bad news is, and this was just a recent development, and it was discussed by the board already, but it's the federal government decided to close the federal immigration building or program out at our BCRC facility, and we've said this for many years. That program generated $1 million of benefit. Actually, it's more than this. This is 11/12 that we're pulling out because they don't close until the end of January, but over $1 million of benefit to the property taxpayers. And we lose that benefit, so that's not necessarily a good thing. But we had to reduce the revenue at BCRC to reflect the fact that we could not charge a full year of building use charge, what we kind of refer to as rent. And the other thing that happened is that debt service, which was accounted for in that fund as an enterprise fund, now switches to the general fund. So the total ramification of that for 2023 is the general fund net deficit went up by 1.2 million because we have to pay the principal and the interest as an expense in the general fund. BCRC accounted for like a business was only interest expense, but nevertheless, it's a hit to not only that fund's revenue, but also the general fund revenue, which is why you see it twice here. Community development, just a change in the schedule of projects, and it's been updated, and we're adding 800,000 of revenue to be recognized, and you'll see on the expenditure changes there's 800,000 of expenses. It's a wash. Solicitor's office going to have additional 300,000 of revenue. It's primarily reimbursement from Children Youth Services for higher assistant solicitor costs. You recall that we added a net new position, and we also did some salary adjustments. And then in CYS, they have higher grant reimbursements, of course, higher personnel costs, and some fringe benefits. And then others, just a bunch of small adjustments that netted down to $100,000. Now on the expenditure side, they're higher by 8.2 million. You can see we reduced the expenditures on BCRC to remove the building use charge and the debt. Same reason the revenue's down in that department. The general fund debt service is higher by the 200,000 that the general fund now has to pay since the building converts to full facility use on February facility department use. February 1st. Personnel costs 1.1 million higher. It's primarily wage adjustments that we couldn't get in time for the proposed budget. Plus, we added on a net basis 4 FTE or increase in headcount, and we had additional healthcare adjustment based on our trend on claims through October of $300,000. Capital plan, 6.2 million increase to a total of 23.8. General fund increase from 11.2 to 17.4. Other remain the same. That's restricted in funds and grant funds. Capital that's eligible for that. And it's 100% related to facility ag center renovations, which you just talked about at your operations meeting on Tuesday. And it's the parks lighting upgrades that were discussed prior to the proposed budget, but we had to get part of that proposal pulled out. So it just focused on the lighting upgrades, and they are in now. Community development, again, just schedule of more project schedule. CYS, we kind of talked about on the revenue side. Personnel and benefits, for those that are really paying attention, you notice that's 100,000 higher. That difference is the 100,000 county match, higher than revenue. Vehicle leases, we got a more refined list from facilities. We had to increase the vehicle lease payments by 400,000. The total for next year will be 568,000 for 60 vehicles total leased by the end of the next year. And again, we had other minor revisions, things like increased natural gas by 6,000, expense, things like that, and they all netted down to 100,000. And I went too fast there. Hold on a second. And then unassigned general fund balance decreases by 6.8 million. When I look at it, what is the primary reason? It's primarily the capital's higher general fund 6.8 and the loss of that revenue for the federal ICE program. But we're still at a very solid, really strong position there. We still have 88 days of operating expense coverage or float. Our minimum is 60 days. So we are okay to subsidize the higher general fund funded capital that you see on this schedule at 17.4 million. Now you can see our total deficit, all funds, is higher, 21.2 million. It's for the reasons we just talked about. Not much change going on in here with these other funds that are restricted and have restricted net assets. The big driver down here for this increase, 3.8 to 4.4, is the loss of that BCRC revenue and the pickup of the debt service by the general fund. If it wasn't for that decision, the 3.8 million would have been a deficit of 3.2 million. And I was hopeful when I presented the budget, I thought we could get this lower, but that was something outside of all of our control. So that brings us to where we are today. That deficit, that operating deficit, is just not large enough to convince me we need to raise property taxes in the current economic environment. So we continue not to recommend a tax increase, to fix the tax rate at 7.657 mils, or $766 per 100,000 of assessed value. We're going to ask you to adopt the total general fund expenditure budget of 279.5 million and a total expenditure budget of all funds of 666.5 million. And that shows you the deficit all funds that we had on the prior schedule. So with that, Commissioners, that completes the update. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Otherwise, I'll turn it back to the three of you.
Thank you very much, Bob. Sorry you had to hang around here. You don't sound good. So as soon as we finish up here, don't wait till the end of the meeting. You are free to head home and take care of yourself. Any questions, comments from my colleagues?
Well, I certainly appreciate the update since the November presentation. I would, if there are no questions or comments, I would respectfully ask that I motion to approve the last budget as a commissioner for 2023 and set the real estate tax rate at 7.657 mils.
Which indicates no increase.
No increase.
I will second that motion and thank Bob and his team for their work.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? I do want to note that I did submit my disclosure of conflict letter to our chief clerk, Carmen Torres. That's something that we need to do every year prior to approval of the budget.
Mine was submitted as well.
Likewise.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. The 2023 budget is officially approved without any tax increase. Bob, thank you very much. Thank you to your team. Go home, get some rest, and do what Peter Rabbit did. Take some chamomile tea with honey.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Take care of yourself, Bob.
Continuing with our agenda, are there any additions or corrections for the December 8th Commissioner meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We did have several executive sessions. December the 9th, personnel. December the 12th, personnel. December the 13th, personnel. December the 14th, personnel and contract negotiations. And December the 15th, personnel. At this time, I'd like to recognize my executive assistant, Anne Marie Grill, to read the public comment policy.
Thank you, Commissioner Linebuck. Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used, Teams Q&A, Facebook, and YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Thank you very much, Anne Marie. There's no public comment in person regarding the agenda, and there's no public comment online, so I will move forward with the agenda. Item 1, authorizing under that Budget Department adopt a resolution authorizing 2022 budget transfers in the amount of $11,891 and 2022 appropriations in the amount of $1,153 per listing dated December the 9th of 2022. Human Resources, there are several items. Item 1, authorize the transfer of Kevin Barnhart from Commissioner to Chief Operations Officer in the Commissioner's Office effective January the 9th of 2023. Item 2, authorize the transfer of Lawrence Medallia from Register of Wills Orphan Court to Deputy Chief Operations Officer effective January the 9th of 2023. And item 3, authorize the promotion of Amanda Burkhardt-Sell from Agricultural Conservation Easement Coordinator to Agricultural Program Manager in the Department of Agriculture. I have 2 items listed under my name. Item A, adopt a resolution amending a prior resolution correcting the term for the appointment of Kate Alley, Wyomissing, PA, to the Berks County Housing Authority to reflect a 5-year term expiring on December 31st of 2027. And item B, adopt a resolution amending a prior resolution correcting the first name of Greg. We had 1 G, there are 2 Gs. Actually, there are 3 Gs. G-R-E-G-G Eshelman of Mountain, Pennsylvania, appointed as the president of the Agricultural Land Preservation Board for a 1-year term beginning January of 2023. Several items listed under Commissioner Barnhart. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Amanda Hernandez, Blandon, PA, to the Berks County Children and Youth Services Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st of 2025. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Dr. Jill Hackman, Reading, PA, to the Council on Chemical Abuse Board of Directors for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st of 2026. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Kevin Rudy, Moulton, PA, to the Council on Chemical Abuse Board of Directors for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st of 2026. And item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Thomas Xavius, Reading, PA, to the Council on Chemical Abuse Board of Directors for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st of 2026. One item listed under Commissioner Michael Rivera. Ziamara? Is it?
Xiomara.
Oh, man, I'm amazing. There you go. Adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Ziamaro Toledo, Reading, PA, to the Berks County Public Libraries Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st of 2025. We have several items listed under the Commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the Board of Commissioners to electronically execute the U.S. Department of Homeland Security Federal Fiscal Year 2022 State Homeland Security Grant Program Agreement between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, and the Southeastern PA Regional Task Force, which includes Berks County. PEMA authorizes federal funds in the amount of $1,487,702 to the subrecipient for the purpose of supporting the identified planning, organization, equipment, maintenance, training, and exercise needs to oppose acts of terrorism and other catastrophic events. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the following 2023-2024 P Corp renewal documents. Item 1, general instructions, and item 2, P Corp renewal payment options, commission selection. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to bind the excess workers' comp policy with Arch Insurance at a renewal rate premium of $239,909. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing Pamela Seaman, Administrator, Berks County Office of MHDD, to complete and execute the Department of Human Services annual notification form for the assisted outpatient treatment, indicating Berks County's intent to opt out of assisted outpatient treatment for the calendar year of 2023. Item E, adopt a resolution approving the Reading Regional Airport Authority proposed amendment to paragraph 4 of its Articles of Incorporation in accordance with provisions of the Pennsylvania Municipality Authorities Act 53 as amended and supplemented. Item 2, a motion to authorize execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the attached listing dated December the 12th of 2022. There are 42 contracts. The first one is a joint contract between Adult Probation, the Berks County Residential Center, Career Link, Children and Youth Services, Courts, Jail, Juvenile Probation, Planning, Tax Claim, and Treasure. And just, you might wonder what kind of contract would involve all of them. It's for language services. We have one with the Assessment Office, one with Career Link, one with the Heim, one jointly with the Berks Heim and Jail, 9 contracts with Children and Youth Services, one jointly with Children and Youth Services and Juvenile Probation, 2 with the Coroner's Office. Wait, gotta scroll down. 1 jointly with the DA and Public Defender, 2 with Facilities, 2 with HR, 14 with Information Systems, 3 with the Jail, 1 with the Treasurer, and 2 with the Public Defender. Item 3, a motion to authorize execution of the payments and electronic transfers as set forth on the Controller's Office voucher listing dated December the 15th of 2022. And item 4, a motion to authorize execution of all employee payroll disbursements dated December 20th of 2022.
A motion to approve the agenda as presented, and I will be abstaining from Human Resources item number 1 as an obvious conflict of interest.
I will second that.
The motion has been made and seconded, noting Commissioners Barnhart's abstention. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. We'll move now to the report of our Chief Operations Officer, Ron Seaman. I'm going to go to you first.
Thank you. The only thing I have to report now is starting tomorrow evening, the Parks Department in the Holiday Lights display at Grings Mill presents programming straight through to Friday, December the 23rd, every evening. Entertainment runs all nights from 5:45 to 7:45 p.m., beginning with Ken Garrett on Friday the 16th. Steve Pollara and his Cool Beans Band on December 17th, the Brass Menagerie on December the 18th, Sunday, Monday, December 19th, Stephanie Grace, Tuesday, December 20th, Polished Brass, Wednesday, December 21st is King Winter with Wendy Thompson on the harp. There will be a special luminary lighting that evening. On Thursday, December the 22nd, Crow Hill will perform. And wrapping things up on Friday, December 23rd will be Dave Klein. There will be food trucks available each evening as well. So come on out and enjoy the free parking, free displays available at Grings Mill. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ron. And we'll go now to our Treasurer's Office report, Linda Weaver. And I'd love to tell you I was just mixing things up a little bit, but actually I was just plain mixed up. So, Linda Weaver to give us the Treasurer's report.
Good evening. We have an opening balance of $223,806,036.03. We have a balance to clear of $6,401,512.18, leaving us with a balance of $217,404,523.85.
Thank you very much, Linda. We'll move now to the ever vibrant Sandy Graffius, our county controller.
It cracked me up. Linda's face, I'm like, all right, everybody, our power is being usurped by Mr. Seaman. So congratulations, Mr. Seaman.
And we all know how power hungry Mr. Seaman is.
I'm just hungry, not for power.
Onward to the report. We had accounts payable this week of $7,368,335.85 as at a payroll, $4,829,423 for a grand total of $12,197,758.85.
Thank you very much, Sandy. And we'll move now to Commissioners' reports, beginning with Commissioner Michael Rivera.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. Just a few items here. I want to congratulate the staff and volunteers at the Reading Regional Airport. They had a great Christmas in the air this past Saturday. The goal was to get 200 kids up in the air. They were able to get 265 kids up in the air. So great accomplishment there. Great opportunity for kids that have never been on an airplane to get up in the air and fly around the airport there and see things from a different perspective. So Zach and Mike and his team there, congratulations, great job. And also a huge thank you to all the volunteers, those who volunteered their planes for that because they weren't paid, they volunteered their planes. Also Millennium Aviation and Reading Jet Center as well, they provided the gas free for the plane. So a huge thank you to them as well and everyone who worked there that day. Also want to congratulate UGI. They did their groundbreaking for a new data center. They're opening there in their location in Bern Township in Leesport area. It's a 13,879,000 square foot data center, which will be in addition to the main training building at the Learning Center campus that they have there. was able to go there on Wednesday, saw what they're doing. Great opportunity. They're moving their center it's off of Route 10 here in Reading, and it's going there to their learning center. So it's a great opportunity. They're keeping it here in Berks County. And UGI, I want to thank them for the safe natural gas that they provide to over 730,000 customers here in throughout Pennsylvania and Maryland as well. And one last item, I want to congratulate Commissioner Barnhart and Larry Medali as well in their appointments as Chief Operations Officer and Deputy Chief Operations Officer as well. As we mentioned on Tuesday when we had the press conference, it's a great opportunity for the county going into this. I did not want to select the best candidate that we interviewed. I wanted to make sure that we were selecting the best person for the job. After going through the interviews, we had 2 great candidates, and it worked out that we were able to bring them both on to help the county move forward. I honestly don't know how Ron Seaman does it, being one person. Don't know how he gets it done, so we will miss Ron here, but we are looking forward to what Larry and Commissioner Barnhart can do. So thank you for them. Also this morning at the Elections Board meeting, congratulated Commissioner Barnhart and thanked him for his service to the Elections Board. He's been the chair there for 12 years and stepped down because he's moving into his new role as COO. And I will be taking leadership there in that board. So Larry, congratulations. Commissioner Barnhart, congratulations, and thank you for your work with the board. Looking to continue working with you, but now in a different aspect. But we are very excited about what both of you will bring to the county in 2023 and forward. So thank you.
You want to go last?
Oh, yeah, sure. Mix it up.
We'll mix it up. On this time on purpose. 2 things I wanted to touch on. Yesterday, I was involved in 2 separate meetings with Reading Hospital, Tower Health, and I want to really thank them for their efforts yesterday. In the morning meeting, and I won't go into any detail, I was there along with Pam Seaman, who is our Director of Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities. And we had a pretty extensive discussion on mental health challenges here in the county, how the county and Tower Health and Reading Hospital more specifically could possibly partner to address some of the challenges we're facing through MHDD, through our children and youth services, through our jail as it relates to mental health. I got to tell you, they have a world-class team at Tower Health. Just a great group of people and some very good insight. I also want to compliment Pam Seaman. Anne Marie Grill was there with me at both of these meetings, but Pam Seaman is a rock star. She knows the mental health arena better than anybody I know, and she really showed it in that meeting. It was clear that people in the hospital respect her, know her, and I'm cautiously optimistic that together we can address some of the serious mental health issues that we're facing in several county departments that deal with the constituency that are struggling with those issues. In the afternoon, all 3 commissioners were able to participate in a meeting with Reading Hospital Tower Health leadership. In both meetings, Dr. Charles Barbera was the lead. I said this partway through our tour, but I want to go on record. I think it is so valuable that the CEO of the Reading Hospital is not somebody from the outside. Dr. Barbera has been with Reading Hospital for many years. And as he pointed out to us, if you recall, he pointed to some of the leadership members that were actually born in the Reading Hospital and have spent their entire career with the hospital. Very impressed. We went through a number of departments, but again, it was my first time in the trauma unit. Again, they told me I used this 3 times yesterday, but it is world class. Just an amazing facility. So I want to thank telehealth for taking that kind of time with us yesterday. They are a healthcare partner, and I want to make something clear. They highlighted to us that they view Penn State St. Joe's as a healthcare partner with them, and I'm fairly certain Penn State St. Joe's would say the same thing about them. The only other thing I want to touch on, my congratulations to Commissioner Kevin Barnhart in being selected as our newest COO, and also congratulating our Register of Wills, Larry Medaglia, for being selected as our new Deputy COO. I won't go into all the details I did on Tuesday, but I want people to understand a couple of important things. Number one, that Commissioner Barnhart and Larry Medaglia were in the mix from the very beginning. Number two, that we brought in a professional firm, Herbine and Mosteller, to handle the process. These two gentlemen were vetted along with a large number of other applicants. They went through the phone interview. They went through multiple face-to-face interviews with Herbine Mosteller before becoming one of what ended up being 7 finalists that came to the county. Of those 7 finalists, there were 2 internal, the 2 gentlemen that we have here today, and 5 external candidates. We then set up interviews. 2 of the external candidates withdrew, so we interviewed 3 external and 2 internal. And when we were done the first rounds of interviews, there was absolutely no question that the top 2 by far were Larry Medaglia and Kevin Barnhart. And I also want to note the review committee was not just Commissioner Rivera and myself. Our executive assistants were part of that. Ron Seaman was part of that. Christine Sadler, our solicitor, was part of it. Jess Weekneck, our HR director, was part of that. Our CFO, Bob Patrizio, and our director of emergency services, Brian Gottschall. Everyone played a valuable role, and we spent a lot of time prepping before we did a single interview. I was talking to Christine today, and she wasn't complaining. So I want to put that on the record. But she said this really put her behind on some of her other work. But she didn't tell us that until it was done. And I will tell you, we could not have ended up where we did without Herbine Mosteller or without the members of this team. And every day, eventually, we're going to have issues. Larry and Kevin are not going to be perfect. I got news for you. They're going to have some issue, and they're going to find out. Well, Kevin already knows I'm not perfect. I think Larry knows that. Most people know that. I'm extremely excited, though, about the bench strength that this brings. And I know that Ron's been conflicted since you made the decision, wondering who's going to end up in this position, and is everything that he's done going to go to naught? I know he's looking forward and has already spent quite a bit of time with our new COO and our new deputy COO. So I'm excited. I know that they're excited, and we're looking forward to a great 2023. Ron will be with us till the end of the first quarter, and we'll talk more about Ron, and I intend to talk more about Kevin and his history with the commissioners at a later date. But right now we're celebrating this decision that we finalized tonight.
Is that going to turn into a roast at some point?
I think you can pretty much count on it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you to my colleagues for your support of me, and especially to the selection committee. I know it was a challenging and trying period of time for you. And I'm really, really excited that you saw fit to pull a team together. with Larry, with Brittany, with Jesse. We're going to hit the ground running, as I said, on Tuesday. And words can't express how heartfelt and sincere gratitude to how this ended up. Look, I always look forward to the future at the end of the year and a new year. This is going to be a little bit of a different look, but a really encouraging, positive look. Going to have to go more to a facilitator, an expediter, and a processor, and really to move things forward. And going from being one of 3 CEOs to the COO. But since that time, it was announced on Tuesday. Prior to that, and now the support that we've received up and down the line has been just amazing. And I think there's a vibrancy here, and people really want to see this momentum continue. We're going to.
If I can touch on one thing that I think is amazing, and you maybe as much as anyone will appreciate it. These 2 gentlemen have been in the mix since late June, early July. I cannot tell you how many people said to me in the last couple of days, I was stunned.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing in government that this was kept under wraps and it never broke. I was sure at some point someone was going to walk up to me and say, I heard a rumor that.
Mm-hmm.
It never happened. And this is what I got from people. I was stunned. I think it's great, but I didn't see this coming. If you had asked me, I would have gone 100 other directions with who it might be. I would have never guessed Kevin Barnhart, Larry Medaglia. It's just, and that's a compliment to the 2 of you. Now, I know you would have reasons you wouldn't want that to leak out, as anyone else would, but I just thought that was amazing.
Why? So
it was amazing.
I won't say it in public.
Sorry to interrupt, but that
it's
comes
quite
out.
right. It's quite all right. But again, I just think the support prior and moving forward has just been amazing. I think it's going to continue, like this spirit of vibrancy and momentum we're going to generate here. And it'll continue my service as a public servant. And that's, I think, my station in life from my early days as a councilman in West Reading to today being a commissioner, and now after January 9th, the COO of the County of Berks. So it's been a great ride. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Since you're standing over there, Larry, do you want to step over to the microphone? Nothing like putting you on the spot, but.
That's okay. First of all, thank you. I do want to say and express my appreciation to the board and to the committee that worked through this. As you said, it was a challenge. It was a long grind. I'm sure Kevin feels the same way. Every time it drained a little bit out of you, but what I found, and I'm sure he found as well, is the enthusiasm afterward just kept growing. So I am as excited as I could be. I'm anxious to get going. Kevin has mentioned so many department heads and staff from all over county government have reached out to us already. We're relying an awful lot on Ron and very appreciative of his mentorship of us. As Christian said, we're going to have our bumps along the way. Mm-hmm. But what I also notice, if you see Kevin and you see me, most of the time we're smiling. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because we're happy warriors. Mm-hmm. And I think that is going to serve us well and serve you well. So I am, again, extremely grateful. We come to the end of the year and it's a time to be thankful, and I am.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing, because at least, I know you've gotten various calls. I've gotten various calls as well, and it's about how Commissioner Barnhart will be replaced. And per the county code, it's the Court of Common Pleas who decides who his replacement will be. So we do not decide that. And we don't know what their process is going to be yet. We're waiting to hear from them how they're going to move forward. So if anyone does wonder, it does have to be a Democrat that will replace him. And it's being carried out by the Court of Common Pleas in Berks County.
Very good. Thank you. Any comments from our row officers? Hearing none, there's no public comment in person, and there's no public comment online. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
The meeting stands adjourned.